Welcome to the Conflict Zone YouTube channel. Russia's grip on occupation is faltering, met with a resilient response from Ukrainian fighters against relentless attacks. This has plunged Russia into a precarious situation on all fronts, with the Russian army enduring substantial losses, including heavy equipment, heightening anxiety among the Russian people. Amidst this chaos, another significant blow has struck the Russian army, unfolding in a massive fire at night in a Russian arms factory located in the city of Lviv. This facility, previously used for drone production, is now engulfed in flames, leading to heightened challenges for the Russian military. The Regional Emergencies Ministry reported that a production building on Orjan Kid 2 Street, spanning 3,500 square meters, is ablaze. Although the ministry cited the enterprise's activities as related to professional detergents and disinfectants, media reports indicate that the premises were formerly utilized for drone production by the chemical company Ents Chimprom and the Novyi Dim shopping center. This incident follows a series of explosions, including a major fire earlier this month at the Votkinsk plant, situated 50 kilometers from Lviv, which produces missiles and ammunition for systems like Iskander and Tochkayu. Explosions have also rocked the Mekro plant since the war's onset. Ukrainian fighters are strategically orchestrating attacks, exacerbating the challenges faced by the Russian army. Later in the day, Alexander Cki, the new chief of staff, announced a strategic withdrawal of Ukrainian troops from the frontline town of Aviva to avert encirclement. Sersky acknowledged that Kiev conceded a symbolic victory to Russia, but emphasized that the decision was grounded in the evolving operational situation around Aviva. The withdrawal aims to protect the lives and health of military personnel, marking Russia's most substantial territorial gain since capturing the eastern city of Bakhmut last May. This development comes just ahead of the second anniversary of the start of the occupation. Our soldiers executed their military duties honorably, deploying all possible efforts to dismantle the best Russian military units and inflict significant losses on the enemy. The lives of our military personnel are paramount, and we are resolute in reclaiming Aviva. This decision by Cki, his first major move since his appointment on February 8, underscores the commitment to safeguarding soldiers' lives and preventing encirclement. Throughout the war, there have been numerous instances of mistreatment of soldiers in the Russian army. The care and concern shown by Ukrainian commanders for their soldiers shed light on the stark contrast. Lieutenant General Alexander Tarnavsky, who commands the Aviva region, also announced the withdrawal of Ukrainian troops to prepared positions. Tarnavsky stated that this was the right decision in the face of the enemy's constant shelling, having a 10-to-1 advantage. The encirclement was broken, personnel withdrew, and our troops assumed a defensive stance on designated lines. Recent events unfolded as Russian troops captured a key stronghold in the battlefield town of Avdiivka, forcing Ukrainian troops to retreat hundreds of meters amid artillery and mortar fire. Infantry from the 1st Army Corps reportedly cleared the Cheburashka-Zanit defense complex, ending weeks of bloody attacks against Ukrainian trenches and fortifications on the southwestern outskirts of the city. Both Russian and Ukrainian media reported that Ukrainian troops evacuated a formidable network of fortifications built since 2014, improving over time. Reports from both sides indicate that Ukrainian soldiers had to fight their way out of almost complete encirclement, leaving behind wounded casualties as they retreated. The battle for the industrial center, situated less than 10 kilometers north of the Russian-controlled city of Donetsk, has become one of the bloodiest battles in the two-year war. Many compare it to the Battle of Bakhmut, where tens of thousands of soldiers were killed. The latest figures suggest that Russia's 4-month offensive on the devastated Donetsk town of Aviva has intensified the conflict. Ukraine claims that more lives have been lost in the conflict than Moscow's 10-year Soviet-era war in Afghanistan. According to Dmytro Lyovy, spokesman for Ukraine's Tavria force group protecting Aviva, between October 10, 2023, when Russia launched its offensive on Donetsk, and February 17, 2024, approximately 177,000 Russian troops were eliminated, with an additional 30,000 Russian fighters wounded. Western analysts suggest that Russian casualties increased after the siege of Aviva began, potentially surpassing the Soviet death toll in Afghanistan. If Kiev's figures are accurate, this implies that more Russian soldiers have been killed in and around Aviva than during the decade-long Soviet Union's war in Afghanistan, where estimates put the death toll at around 15,000. The British Ministry of Defence previously stated that within 3 months of the start of the current conflict, Russia had lost as many soldiers as the Soviet Union did in Afghanistan over 9 years. Marina Myron, a postdoctoral researcher at the Department of War Studies at King's College London, emphasized the difficulty in determining casualties in an ongoing conflict, as both sides aim to keep such data secret and inflate enemy casualty numbers. Both Moscow and Kiev rarely disclose their own losses or the extent of equipment destruction. Russia has not published casualty data since September 2022, when Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu announced 5,937 soldiers lost. British Armed Forces Minister James Heap informed British MPs that approximately 350,000 Russian personnel had been liquidated or wounded in Ukraine. In response, Ukrainian Armed Forces Air Force units reportedly destroyed 2 enemy Su-34 fighter bombers and 1 Su-35 fighter in the east. Natalia Humak, head of the Joint Press Center of the Southern Operational Command, anticipated a temporary pause in the use of tactical aircraft, expecting the Russians to recalculate new launch limits. However, she emphasized that the Russians would not cease bombing as they still perceive air superiority. The Sumy Regional Military Command reported a successful operation conducted by the UAV strike company of the 117th UAV Brigade, which resulted in the destruction of the Russian Morom-M surveillance system. In an official statement, the command highlighted the exceptional work of the UAV strike company, leading to a significant success. Ukrainian servicemen successfully destroyed the Morom-M, a long-range visual surveillance device used by the enemy to spy on the border of the Sumy region. Morom-M is equipped with a zoom optical camera capable of detecting individuals at a distance of up to 10 kilometers, as well as a thermal imager that can identify vehicles at 8 kilometers and people at 4 kilometers autonomously. Following these losses, the enemy mobilized, and throughout the day, the Ukrainian Defense Forces repelled 33 enemy attacks on 5 axes and 14 attacks on the left bank of the Dnieper River. A total of 56 battles were fought, with the enemy launching 3 missile and 33 airstrikes, along with 64 multiple launch rocket (MLR) strikes on Ukrainian troop positions and various settlements. Unfortunately, Russian strikes resulted in civilian casualties, injuries, and the destruction of residential and apartment buildings, as well as critical infrastructure. Despite these challenges, Ukraine continues to fight with determination and resilience. The statement concludes with gratitude for the audience's attention.